In the 70s, there was a lot of conversation among leaders in the community regarding hospice, which was being very successful out in the western part of the country. And leaders like Sister Aquinas and Rabbi Lewis felt that it was something that really needed to get harnessed. And so they led the effort, and it was birthed right here at Aquinas.
In the beginning, all of us were learning. Each of us was learning about what hospice was. Each of us had our own ideas about the validity and the importance of bringing it to town.
I think in those early days, the people that were drawn into hospice of Greater Grand Rapids and now Hospice of Michigan in the early days were people that in particular felt a calling to get involved with this type of movement.
It was hard to get doctors to become involved, to really trust us. I think that was one of the big things, because they were dealing with their patients. And they're very guarded about having hospice take over the care of some of their patients.
I was just 1 year out of my residency training, so it wasn't like I had a wealth of experience. And quite frankly, none of us as physicians really had a wealth of experience in hospice care. We were all kind of learning as we went along.
When we found a home at Aquinas, I think there were two things in our favor. One was certainly Sister Aquinas and her influence on the college campus and throughout the community. The other was Norb Ruby was then the president, and he understood the importance of what we were trying to do and was trying to be as supportive as possible in giving us space.
The fact that it was interfaith and individuals from many faiths coming together to organize hospice was very important for Aquinas and those early leaders.
On a personal level, I remember what it was like to go into the hospitals to visit my own congregants who were dying and who were in pain and who were not being offered anything to just alleviate the pain. I remember being asked questions by families. What do we do now?
When we would say to people, how about hospice? They would say, I can't afford it. I can't pay a nurse. I can't pay any caregivers. Then we would tell them, you don't need to worry about that. We'll take care of that. Even when we didn't have any money, we said, we'll take care of it.
From the very beginning, though, I was so impressed with the dedication of the people on the hospice team. The nurses, the social workers, spiritual care advisors, all of the team members who really in those early years, and certainly this has continued up through to the present time, were so dedicated to the real goal of hospice in terms of providing the best possible end-of-life care, not only for the patient, but also for the patient's family.
We didn't have any money. And one of the things, it was one of the gentlemen on the board said to me, do you think we could have a phone-a-thon and call people? We could come up with a list and it will give us a chance to explain to them what hospice is. It was like a PR effort.
We had people who were truly committed to going out on Sundays, to speak to church groups, or going out during the week to talk to church groups or other social organizations. Yes, it was a continuous struggle to just pay the bills. This is before we even hired anybody. I mean, if we were going to hire somebody, we had to be able to promise that person, here's what you're going to earn, and we can promise you it's in the bank.
I think back, and I've said this many times over the years, to wonder how we were able to really provide good care for patients at the end of life before hospice was available, particularly before an organization like Hospice of Michigan was there to serve people.
Sister Aquinas taking on this leadership in the early days for hospice was no surprise, and also no surprise that she did it well, and she would be the first to tell you that she didn't do it alone.
You don't do things alone. They were all good people, so whatever you did as your contribution is just a little piece of what a whole lot of other people added to make it a whole. So I just think it's possible to do if you have other people working with you. You know, no one person could have, at least in my estimation, pulled that off.
The fact that there are so many people so committed to quality of life is very gratifying. Knowing that I was one of many who helped bring it to fruition, and that when I stepped back, that the next people in had the abilities that I didn't have on how to carry it further. It's very satisfying.
My experience has been, you don't give up. Dominicans don't give up. And you work until you see results. And then you walk away because somebody else will pick it up and carry it forward.
I anticipated something that would be in Grand Rapids, maybe Western Michigan, that if we accomplished that, we had really accomplished something.
And I thought, this is God's work. And why wouldn't it not be blessed by people who hear us talk about it and see the value in it? People will put their money where they see value, see results.
On behalf of Aquinas College, I'd like to extend appreciation and congratulations to both Sister Aquinas and Rabbi Lewis for being recognized tonight. They were early pioneers, and we should all be grateful to them.